Determine if the following functions are one-to-one or not. Well, what is best in order to decide if a function is one-to-one is to take a look at its graph and see if that graph is going to pass both the vertical line test and the horizontal line test. And the good thing about this is you don't really need a particularly accurate graph. You just kind of need to know the overall shape of the function. So for part A, 2/3 x plus 5, this is a line that has a y-intercept of 5 and a slope of 2/3. I'm not going to be very accurate with this because it doesn't really matter where this line is. When it comes to the vertical and horizontal line tests, any vertical line that I draw would only touch the graph at a single point, and any horizontal line that I draw would only touch the graph at a single point. And so therefore it passes both the horizontal and vertical line tests. So for part A, it is a one-to-one function. Now for part B, what we have is a square root. And this particular square root would be shifted to the right by 4 units, but it really doesn't matter because it doesn't affect the shape that much. The vertical line test would certainly be passed. Any vertical line you draw would only touch this graph at a single point. And then also it would pass a horizontal line test because any horizontal line you draw would only touch the graph at a single point. So because it passes both, it is indeed a one-to-one function. Now the next one, what I have here is a parabola because it's y equals x plus 1 quantity squared. That makes it a parabola, and then minus 3. So it's a parabola shifted to the left 1 unit and then down 3. You don't have to be terribly accurate with this because it's just the overall shape that matters. So a parabola would indeed pass a vertical line test, but in fact it would not pass a horizontal line test because this horizontal line here that I've drawn touches the graph in more than one place. And if that's the case, it is not a one-to-one function. And then lastly here, this particular function looks a bit odd. It's y equals the square root of 49 minus x squared. And that might be something that you're familiar with, and it might not. But you could probably make it a little bit more recognizable if you took part D and say if you square both sides, you would have y squared equals 49 minus x squared. And if we add x to both sides, that would become x squared plus y squared equals 49. So this is the graph of a circle, but it is actually only the top part of the circle because in this form it would have to be the plus or minus square root to be a full circle. So it's the upper part of a circle and have a radius of 7 centered at the origin. So it would look like this. Now, it would indeed pass the vertical line test because it only touches the point on the graph at one place along its entire domain, but it would not pass the horizontal line test because here's a line that touches the graph in more than one place, so it fails that, and therefore it is not a one-to-one function.